All I could see was blue. All I could feel was my cracked, tan skin screaming at me. All I could hear were waves bumping into the boat. The brain-dead man next to me, Mac, wouldn't say a thing, while Phil in the other raft kept my brain sharp by quizzing me with random questions about random things. I am Louis Zamperini. While in these rafts, I had a lot of time to reflect. I thought back to my rambunctious, troublesome childhood. By 11, I was smoking, drinking, and I was constantly stealing. And even more than all those things, I was running. I was running from bullies who bullied me because of my thick Italian accent and Italian heritage. But my older brother Pete saw the good in me. He saw the talent I had for running and introduced me to track. Since my heart wasn't in anything else, I figured, hey, why not? Why not put my heart into this? So I started getting good. I started winning. I started beating people by half miles. I started beating people by miles. And by the time I was 18, I had newly qualified for the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Once there, at 19, I finished 8th place in the 5,000 meter run. It was only the second time I had competed in that race. I had a final lap of 60 seconds. All the other men I competed against were in their prime, which means they were a lot faster than me. So 8th place was pretty stinking good. But then World War II broke out, and the 1940 Olympics were canceled. I enlisted to be in the U.S. Army Air Force and was assigned to a B-29 Super Fortress. I was the bombarder on this plane, hence the jacket. My pilot, Phil, quickly became my best friend. When we went on our first real mission to bomb a Japanese outpost, things started getting really real, really fast. Before that, we had just been flying over the ocean, trying to find lost men. But now, we were blowing up an island. Superman, our ship, leading the charge, got beat up pretty badly, and it was very clear once we crash landed that it would never fly again. A lot of our men got shot up really bad. So I was assigned to a new crew, me and Phil were, in a new, pretty bad plane, the Green Hornet, still a B-29. On our very first mission, both of the left engines feathered out and we were crashed in the Pacific. Only 3 men made it, Mac and Phil, and of course me. We were stranded in the middle of the ocean for 42 days, a new world record, surviving on rainwater, sharks, and birds that flew overhead. But I always had hope that I would make it. Mac, of course, passed away. He wasn't staying sharp, and he wasn't eating like he was supposed to. But Phil had made it. We had drifted too far west to be rescued by American men, and so we were put into the hands of Japanese. Well, taken into the Japanese. I stayed at multiple prison camps and was treated very badly. In the first, they just put us in our cells and threw rice at us. We didn't have a lot of water, we didn't have a lot of food, and we were beaten very badly. But in the next camp, I wished I was in the last camp. A man who we affectionately named the Bird would mercilessly beat anyone if they folded their blanket wrong. But once he was discharged to another camp, I had been there for 42 days, and a lot of men from that camp were moved to another camp. I was moved too. In this new coal mining camp, we were just forced to work with no baths. And who would be there but the Bird? He singled me out, using cruel and unusual punishments to try and make me go insane. But when it came to towards the end of the war, we were sure they were going to execute us. They took us down to the river. It would be a first bath for many of men in years. We were sure this was it. Machine guns pointed down on us. We heard a low hum, and then the hum got louder and louder, and a US B-29 flew overhead. America had won the war. I went home. They didn't kill us. I saw my mother, my brother, my sisters, and my father. I later met my wife and had one daughter with her, but I did struggle with alcohol quite seriously. That is until I saw Billy Graham in LA. I then devoted my life to God, as I had promised him I would in the Pacific Ocean. Many years later, I was in my 80s. I ran in the Olympics again, bringing the torch in Japan. Louis Zamperini gave me a great perspective on World War II. Before him, the only reference I had was that Pearl Harbor movie. He also taught me to be courageous and very hopeful. Despite almost dying alone in the middle of the ocean, he always had hope. He never gave up, and he survived. Thank you.